All right, what's going on, everybody? This is the official first podcast of the 2016 offseason. This is Mike Broadbent, the commissioner of the National East, and we're going to go around and I don't know if you guys even know these people, but we're going to go around and get a little bit of intro from the three other people in the room. Whoever wants to go first, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Nick Mazzetti of the Eastern Legends. Familiar face to most of you. Yeah, it's so awesome to be back doing this thing again. I know it's been a little while since we were cranking things out, but yeah, I'm excited to be back.
And this is Steve Ferrari, your current champion.
Yeah,
I had to throw that one in there.
Asshole.
Welcome to the first podcast of the season. I would like to welcome Mike as one of our fellow commissioners. Welcome to the elite circle that is the commissioner of the elite.
Thank you.
Elite circle in the elite.
I'm looking forward to an off season that's already been cranked up and getting to the draft a couple more weeks.
Beautifully said.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I can't follow that. And last but not least, I'm Jack Smith of the Yakadelphians. What am I, the commissioner of the National West, I believe? I think that's it. Yes, that's me. I was challenged briefly for a couple of, 2 hours by Camiolo, but I still hold my title. And
I believe he challenged Steve erroneously and then backed out before he even realized what he was doing.
Yes, he incorrectly chose my division to run in, and then he realized what an idiot he was.
And Camille, sorry for using the word erroneous. It means you did it on accident.
So yeah, let's get this bitch started.
Jack, I think you're doing a massive feedback loop right now.
What?
I don't hear any feedback personally.
I don't either.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind.
Okay. All right. So first things first, you'll notice we have a different format now. We're going to do a Google Hangout. That's actually a live broadcast. You guys won't be hearing this live because you're going to be hearing this in the future. But going forward, we're going to have a live stream. We're going to send it out. If anybody actually wants to, participate live and has nothing else to do with their lives on a weeknight or whatever night we decide to choose and film this. So we're actually recording right now through the Google Hangout, and it's pretty cool. I get to look at all these guys except for Nick, just his profile picture. But
I just got makeup on, so I don't want to have my picture up.
Yeah, you don't got your makeup on anymore. It's okay. We've all had long days, I'm sure. So I guess let's jump right into it. We're into our fourth season now. This is, I guess, the third off season, but we're about to be in the fourth real season. As you guys may or may not know, I won the first 2 years. I can't really remember what happened this past season, though.
Are you blocking that one out already?
It's sort of like David Bowie's Berlin years. It's just kind of a haze. So I guess you guys want to go around and just talk about what your thoughts were from Season 3 of the Elite and how you think things went and if it was a better season than the first two. Just go and give your general thoughts about Season 3.
I would say the most memorable item of Season 3 for me was Henry's Tank Fest.
You took what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, same here. I think we were all going to talk about that one.
Unlike anything I've ever seen before, it was egregious. It was.
Well, just put it on the NBA.
No, it would be as if the Sixers didn't even show up to the coin toss, or no, there's no coin toss, the tip off.
Also, it's the tip off.
Right now, I'm mixing metaphors, but no, it was like he was starting retired backup defensive ends and bullshit like that, and dropping quarterbacks and all the shyster shit. It was terrible.
I mean, we made a rule for him.
I know.
We got a rule for everybody around here.
Only a select few get rules, but they're deserving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true, very true.
And usually not for a good reason.
Exactly.
That's what makes it.
Yeah, so we had who were the division winners? We had me in the American West. We had I believe I don't even know who the other people were. I think Jack won, right? You won.
It was me, Tucci, you, and Olsen, I believe.
Olsen. Yep.
Olsen. Yeah, and I think Olsen was the biggest surprise from the division winners, just given on he just seems to continually shoot himself in the foot preseason, but somehow just make it work.
Oh,
Like, just by it's like Aaron Rodgers throwing up Hail Marys. Somehow he makes it work, but nobody else can, and that's pretty much Jeff Olsen.
yeah,
in my
but I
opinion.
mean, it was also night and day too, because the year before he wound up as the worst team in the league. So I don't know if it always works out for him, but it's definitely hit or miss.
Yeah, I think he made the semifinal the first year, right?
First year he made semifinals. The next year he finished in the dead last place.
All right. Well, still, he's definitely just running the gamut of ridiculous luck. Especially preseason, I think he traded 3 first-round picks for Alfred Morris, and he didn't even score a touchdown last year.
Yes.
Oh, hilarious.
Yeah, that was not good.
No.
That one trade will forever skew the landscape for running back trades in this league.
I don't know. How many guys have really gotten traded at running back this offseason? Like marquee names, like top 25 running backs. Has there been many?
LaShawn McCoy.
This offseason?
In our league, I mean, this in the past, like, I don't know, like 6 months.
Well, I know Tucci traded Ellington for like 2 firsts, or I think it was 2 firsts.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was
What was that,
way.
last year?
That was
2
2
years
off seasons ago.
Yeah, that was to Steve, right?
Well, much to work
Yeah.
with.
I ended up trading Ellington for
Well,
AP last off season.
I know Rawls went for 3rd.
I don't remember that one.
Is that Jack with the Jack? What are you drinking, Jack?
It's actually called Don Barcelo. I don't know. I won it, so
Sounds classy.
Very nice.
raffle. Got to keep some things from the last podcast format.
Oh,
Some things
damn.
will never change.
All right, so we got the division winners. The playoffs, I mean, I can only speak from my personal experience, but I just had terrible quarterback play. Some in this room can't really say the same.
Yeah, my quarterback play wasn't that bad. It was okay. It was okay.
Yeah, it was all right.
It worked out all right.
But I went down. I should have lost in the first round, honestly. I think I had like the second lowest score outside of Tucci's complete diarrhea fest in the opening round. Like he had like everybody get hurt that round. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, that was when I saw Dalton and Eifert go down right away in those games. He had no chance. That was just brutal for him.
Yeah. And
Not to mention, he went up against Eli Manning's 41 points too. So.
Yeah, I think I only would have beaten Tucci because he had like 2 healthy players and the guy I beat in the first round. And it
There he is.
just wasn't my year, and that's fine. That's I can live with that.
You sure about that? You're not bitter at all?
I mean, I still have the trophy. I'm holding on like somebody who just mummifies their wife after they die and just has her lay in bed. That's pretty much what I got going on right now. But yeah, Jack, you want to talk about? I guess since we're only really talking about the playoffs right now, Nick, you could just keep making weird faces.
Ooh, wow. I could talk plenty about the playoffs, trust me.
Oh, I know it could.
Jack,
Don't indulge.
Jack, you want to talk about?
My year. It could have been my year.
Could have been doesn't count.
Yeah.
Speaking of coulda.
I would have won every
No.
playoff game. I would have won the championship if I only snuck in.
Jack, you want to talk about your playoff run?
Who did I play in the first round? Does anybody remember?
You played who was it?
Hess?
Hess.
That sounds right.
Yeah, all I remember is I started somebody I shouldn't have, and for a second there, it looked like I was going to get bounced. But what really pisses me off is the next round, the Camiolo rounds, which is known as,
Oh God.
which was going great right up until Broadbent texted me congratulating myself and him, saying, I'll see you in the championship. All
I
right.
don't remember that.
Scored 197 points and lost.
Piss him death.
I don't know what that kid. He is. You said Olsen was lucky.
Oh,
Camiolo.
that was the David Johnson
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles game.
Yep.
And, what's his name? Antonio Bryant went off too. Like there was a point where I'm like, he only needs like 10 points to beat me. He's got like 3 players. I'm done. And then those players went off, and it looks like a blowout.
It was Brown's 211-yard game, I think, 16 catches.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if the season with injuries wasn't bad enough, I couldn't keep a Seattle running back. I couldn't tell you who I started. Maybe it was Fred Jackson. I don't know. I was already limping in, and I score 197 points and still lose, but I'll forever be plagued in the second round of the playoffs, so maybe I'll play somebody else this year. Who knows?
You know who was not plagued in the second round of the playoffs? Drew Brees.
Nah, he wasn't.
Carson Palmer was, but not Drew Brees.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yep. I was telling Nick all that week that there's no way that he should start Carson Palmer, and Nick at the beginning of the week was like, "Yeah, it's a toss-up, you know. He's been playing great." I'm like, if he's literally playing like at least a 10-point underdog to himself if he plays Carson Palmer over Drew Brees. That's how confident I was, and yeah, it turned out I was right, thankfully, right?
Well, even when you lose, you're still right.
Don't act like I wasn't saying that to you all week, Nick.
I know, it's just funny. There's always a positive spin there, really.
You got to spin it, man. And then, we got the championship we'll talk about now. I think Camiola was talking a bunch of shit before the championship.
He was
completely unlike him.
He was talking shit after he won the round before. He had a whole speech about all sorts of shit. That's what he does.
Yeah, he wanted to have a viewing party with him and the pendant champion.
Right.
I would love to have a Camiola viewing, but I don't think it's the kind that you're talking about.
Open or closed casket?
Closed casket.
Closed.
Absolutely closed.
Cremated.
You know he's gonna love how much shit we're talking about him. He's gonna listen to this and like have a massive, massive heart on the entire time. So, Nick or Steve, let's just talk about what happened in that final.
Well, I started 2 running backs that I would guess week 1 nobody would have pegged as my starting running backs in the championship, and D'Angelo Williams and Tim Hightower combined about 60 points, which really was. I mean, that was pretty much it. I put up 260, which I think may be the high score.
It is. It's the league high score for 3 years.
High score. Not a bad time for that. But everything went right for me. Kawan Short put up 21.5. Thank you, Mazzetti.
You're playing well.
My kicker put up 23. Brees put up 36. I mean, it was just the perfect week. So couldn't have a better time to have it.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely earned it, Steve. You were the best team when it mattered and throughout the season. I'm not trying to say I had a better team, but I'm saying you definitely deserve the title.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So,
I was trying to catch you at the end of the division, but I think I had that one loss to no, I had the loss to you in week 13 that sealed the division up for you, but I made it close.
Yeah.
It felt good for the playoffs, but yeah, it's tough.
And if you're going to lose in the playoffs, you should at least know that you deserve to lose, and you lost to the eventual champ who was kicking everybody's ass. So, again, congratulations. Not to Camiola. If he would have won, then I think half the league would have quit.
I said we would have started a new league.
We would have. So, yeah, that was Season 3. We've had some pretty hectic activity with the trading the last few days, but let's talk about the league shakeup. First, did we have any new owners this offseason? I think we got Jimmy, right?
We got 2 in mid-season.
They were all mid-season. Yep.
All right, so we got Jimmy and we got Linton, right?
Yep.
All right, I'll talk about Andrew first. Andrew was somebody that we'd considered for when the Ogobenes came back for that team. He's a friend. What'd you say?
Just the pronunciation. It's Onyebenes.
Onyebenes.
Yeah.
Onyebenes. I just call them brothers.
Onyebenes.
Whenever I have one of their picks and I put it in parentheses, I just put brothers.
Fair enough. So he was considered for that position, which ultimately went to them. He knows me and Planko and Thurston from high school. Planko, Thurston, and Andrew are all pretty tight. I kind of got into that group through Planko, and I'm not really close friends, but I'm friends with them. I don't really see him too often, but he definitely knows a lot about football. I think he's starting to understand the trading landscape of the league. But I think he's made a few decent trades. Everybody, when they come in, is going to make some trades that probably most people wouldn't.
And their first one is almost always with Mazzetti.
Every time I break him in nice and easy.
Yeah, it's better than Mazzetti than Camiolo.
Yeah.
But you guys want to talk about Jimmy? I don't really know Jimmy too well.
Well, yeah.
He probably knows Jimmy the best out of anyone.
Yeah, so I started doing fantasy leagues with Jimmy. I don't know if you remember Dom, who was in the league the first season.
Yep.
It's his cousin, so I started doing leagues through Dom with him, and probably running about 4 or 5 years now that I've known him. At first, you get your trade talks back and forth where you kind of feeling each other out. At first, I really wasn't sure what to think about him, but then the more I've done leagues with him, you could tell he's dedicated to what he does and knows what he's doing. And one of the reasons I thought he was really good for Haas's old team was kind of shit show it was, and how it really just needed a facelift.
Yeah.
And I thought Jimmy was perfect for that because I know how active he is, and he'll talk trade with you. You may not ultimately come to a deal, but he seems like he knows what he's doing. And I think from a dynasty aspect, he's really picked it up pretty quick. So.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty impressive how quickly he's turned his. I wouldn't say it was a bad team because he had a few pieces. I mean, Romo got hurt. He had a bunch of picks, but he's definitely flipped everything around pretty quickly. He got a lot of young talent in there. He could actually compete this year. I don't know if he's got enough to really win right now, depending on who he takes with the rookie picks. I think he can make some noise, which is impressive for a team that was the worst team in the league last year.
Yeah, and I'm glad he was the worst over Henry too. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, despite his best efforts.
Yeah, so real quick, I just want to say that I think the league has definitely missed Alan Gage a lot. His presence was like a great catalyst for deals and trades and movement and just kind of enthusiasm, and I think we kind of missed that. And it feels like Jimmy's kind of taken on that kind of mantle himself. He's kind of like a more disciplined Gage, and I think he's a great fit.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Where I agree that Gage. Oh, I just got some feedback there. But Gage definitely, I'd say 60% of the time he'd make good to great trades, and the other 40% of the time they were just dog shit, man. And we definitely...
He really was on both sides of the spectrum with that.
Yeah.
Like the autistic
And he got Fabian kicked out of the league.
That's true. What do you get, like 3 second-round picks
trade.
from Ray Rice?
It's terrible.
Right after Nick gave
was...
him that wink wink nod nod trade for Manti Te'o, right?
Oh, dude, that was so bad. I traded like 4 second-round picks for Manti Te'o. Now I can't give them away. I want to, and I can't give them away.
That year you went on a tear of just getting guys on long contracts. I think you also acquired who's that receiver from the Patriots?
Aaron Dobson.
Is he on the Patriots still?
Yeah, that's it.
Justin Blackman too. Don't forget about him.
I would say lesson learned after year 1. I went contract heavy across the board, and you have to try to give out meaningful contracts instead of just having contracts on guys and just because they're young. It's not like Madden. Just because you have a guy on a 5-year deal and he's 23 years old, you can't put him in the game and have him develop. It's up to the situation, it's up to the team. And I've definitely taken a much more tempered approach on my team now. And I think my new roster kind of reflects a lot of things that I've learned in the past couple of years.
Your cap hit certainly reflects it.
Hey, you know what? Go big or go home. So right now I view my cap as something that I can use to my advantage and how willing I am to take cap hits. So if I'm going to have any, I might as well just go all the way with it.
Yeah, if you get any more cap hits, we're going to have to start calling you the Eastern Saints there, buddy.
Oh, that's funny.
We're going to start seeing some hockey trades where you just see teams take bad contracts to get some picks or something like that.
Well, that just happened with me this offseason. I traded a the 50th pick, the 19th pick for the 18th plus a bad contract.
Was it E.J. Manuel or something like that?
It was Logan Thomas.
I'm in there.
Thomas.
Yeah.
But it's smart, though. I mean, if you can take on the contract and get some value, I mean, for you, what's the difference?
Well, that actually
Absolutely.
was working doubly for Thurston because at that point I had 3 quarterbacks. I had Kirk Cousins, who didn't have any years left on his contract. So in order to take on Logan Thomas in that deal, I had to drop Cousins, who's like a relatively premier quarterback. And Thurston was able to go and pick him up like the next day off waivers.
Yeah, so I guess really the last big change-up in the league has been just me becoming league manager. So it feels weird talking about this. So somebody else take the lead.
You know, I
Why
gotta
don't
be
you
honest.
go ahead.
I was really hoping that we'd have some kind of like debate and some kind of run and a platform and
Yeah,
all
it was a
that
little
stuff.
lackluster.
But we
Yeah.
just got the Marshawn Lynch cryptic, message, and that was it. It was over before it even began.
Yeah, I want to put it out there that I definitely like mulled it over real hard. It wasn't just like some kind of like, shoot from the hip decision. I thought I could do a really good job as a league manager, and I know that there was some talk that it was like a railroad job or whatever, but it really wasn't. It was something I definitely didn't do for any other reason than I thought I could do a good job and wanted the league to just be great. So that's really what I got to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say just the fact that we're podcasting again and you're taking the reins on that, that's, I think if that's the only thing that comes from you being a league manager, a commish, that's probably going to be far more than anyone is going to need.
At the same time, some fresh blood's never a bad thing. I don't think Tucci did a bad job by any means, but fresh blood kind of stirs things up. I mean, Mike, when
I'm not sure if it's warm-blooded or not, but it's definitely fresh blood.
as soon as you came in, you threw a couple things out there in our commissioner chat. So yeah, like nothing. I really don't think Tucci did anything wrong. I don't think you did anything wrong in running. You thought you could do a good job, and you ran, and it is what it is. I think we all have the best interest of the league at heart, or at least I hope we do, and we just want it to be the best possible league. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tucci did a really good job as a commissioner, and I hope there's no hard feelings between any of us and him going forward, at least from my end.
Absolutely.
All right, so to move on, so we're going to go over our top 5 teams, each ranked by each league manager. I think the way to best do this would just be to go down and everybody name who they got as their top 5, and we'll kind of discuss it. So for me, I got Jack at number 5, and I guess we'll just give like a quick sentence or two about why we think that. I think Jack has the biggest boom-bust factor of pretty much any team based on his injuries and how his guys bounce back from those injuries. Depth might be a little bit of an issue, but I definitely think he's a legit contender for the title. I got at 4. I got Tucci at 4. I think he's got arguably the best set of receivers in the league, which is probably the most important position in Dynasty. His main issue is going to be quarterback. He's got Dalton, who's been, a top 5 quarterback in stints, but he's also got Teddy Bridgewater, who isn't a good quarterback for fantasy, and he's got RG3, who's not really a starter. I got who do I got at number 3? I'm looking at it on my phone. So.
Probably.
Yeah, Robert, me and you have the same 5.
Yeah.
All right, so I got Mazzetti at 3. I think he's got a lot of talent, but I don't know if he's got a lot of elite talent, but he should have enough to rise to the top. I think I got Steve at number 2. I mean, he's the champ. He's got a lot of high-end talent, not the most amount of depth that you'd want, but he's got 2 stud quarterbacks. He's got receivers. He's got running backs. He's got pretty much everything you look for. And I got myself at number 1. I'm not really going to talk about my team. I just think I have a good team.
Of course.
I'll let you guys. Who wants to take it next?
Yeah, I'll take it next. I'd say kind of very similarly, my top 5 consists entirely of commissioners and former commissioners as well. So
if you guys don't realize that we all have the same in the top 5. Jack, you're the
do we?
same top.
I mean,
what was that?
I was updated. Is everybody there?
It's not like Jack's drunk,
Yeah.
but it's just
Yeah, it's just the
Uh-oh.
connection.
Jack's like old man angrily yells at cloud. Really
Are we
sounds-
back?
Are you there?
I see. I think we're good.
All right.
Who's
Nick's talking.
Yeah. So at number 5, I have Jack as well. And I know Jack's been giving me a lot of flack over the offseason. He's like, "What do I gotta do to be number 1? I'm getting shafted on these rankings." He really takes it to heart. He's mooning. Hey, easy, Peyton. And
Ooh.
but yeah, no, I mean, I think Mike hit it on the head a lot. In terms of star power, he's got it. Marshawn retiring hurts him a little bit, but Rawls showed that he can be more than capable when he came in last year. Hopefully he gets that job this year. And he just got guys returning back from like ACLs and stuff. So assuming everyone comes back to their former, performance, then Jack's obviously gonna be up there. I think one thing that helps him a lot is he's really got a pretty easy division to go through. Not too much challenge there. So I wouldn't be too shocked if Jack finishes with the best record in the league on a combination of quality of his team versus quality of division.
Yep.
And then I have myself at number 4. Unlike Mike, I would be glad to talk about myself for a little bit. So before, I was kind of one of these paper champs a couple years ago, and it didn't really do me any good when it came down to crunch time in the playoffs. So I sold a lot of my really good players like LaShawn McCoy and Julio Jones and all that, and just tried to get picks and buy low guys and all that kind of stuff. So last year was kind of like a retooling year for me, which is why I finished with a pretty much 500 record. But I feel like I'm ready to compete again and be one of the top teams this year. So I'm excited for that. Tucci has like insane wide receiver depth, especially if Calvin retires right now because he's got Golden Tate on a 5. He's got he just traded for Moncrief as his 4th wide receiver. He could take a pretty big step up this year. Really, the only hole I see on Tucci's team right now is his RB2. There's really nothing there outside of Jerick McKinnon and Tevin Coleman. These are complimentary guys that aren't going to get full workloads. Number 2, I have Broadbent. He dominated all of the rankings for most of last year. He was the consensus and unanimous number 1 power ranking for all commissioners. And then something happened in the middle of the season. Steve traded for Eddie Lacy, and then his team just looked a lot better. And Carson Palmer's performance looked a lot better. Crabtree coming out of nowhere looked a lot better. Macklin, coming out. So I had to bump Broadbent down, even though he's got some guys that are really really hard to overcome what they do. Like J.J. Watt is really the only defensive player that I can think of that really has that like team-changing imbalance that gives you an advantage. The only real issues I see on Broadbent's team come in the form of running back age in Forte. You don't know where he's going to go. You don't know what kind of role he's going to have. And Abdullah was pretty inconsistent as a rookie, so I'm not sure what that offers as RB3. And then Steve is my number 1 just on depth alone. Right now, we're, I think we found out last year that a lot of injuries happen. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And Steve can survive many bullets on many players on his team, and he'd still be able to throw out a very confident team. And at some point during me and Steve's trade talks this offseason, I was trying to get AJ, or I was trying to get him to sell AJ or something like that, and I told him that I actually crunched the numbers on his team, and if he didn't have AJ Green at all last year, he would have still won every game that he won and lost every game that he lost. Like, AJ Green was not a deciding factor in any of his games, which just shows you how strong he is from top to bottom everywhere on his team. So that's why I have him at number 1.
All right.
All right, let's go next.
I'll pick it up next. Like you guys, I got Jack at number 5. Jack, I mean, I love your team. Russell Wilson, I mean, he looked great at the end, especially at the end of last year. Walker was an absolute beast, especially with Mariota. I mean, he's probably the most underrated or underappreciated tight end, I should say, in the league. I mean, he puts up points. He doesn't score a ton of touchdowns, but, I mean, he's consistent week to week. Good defense with Aaron Donald is just, I mean, he's as big of a difference maker as J.J. Watt is at defensive end. At defensive tackle, you're looking at the same kind of thing with Aaron Donald. I mean, I think he outscored the next closest D tackle by 30 points. And on a weekly basis, that's just huge from that position to know what you're getting. Your offense, clearly it's Julio. Jordy coming back is going to be big for you. You want to see what he looks like. But like Mazzetti touched on, your division it's just not up to what the rest of us are in. So I think your record certainly might be inflated a little bit, but your team is definitely the top over there. I think number 4, Tucci. I mean, easily the best collection of wide receivers I think we've seen. Broadbent, yours maybe last year or the year before was really good, but I don't know if it was this good. Just the young talent that he has and the years he still has on those guys, the way they broke out last year. I mean, you got to think he's probably going to re-sign Josh Gordon, which is only going to bolster that group.
For 2 games.
For 2 games.
Until next Wiz Khalifa concert comes into town.
I mean, I'm an Andy Dalton fan. I know a lot of people aren't, but I mean, he does put up good enough numbers. I'd rather have him as my second quarterback than my first, but I mean, there's worse positions you could be in.
Definitely.
And his defense is pretty solid too across the board. The only thing he is going to lose Chandler Jones, but he was hurt a lot of last year. Dante Fowler coming back is going to be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, I think Chandler Jones is in that tier of defensive ends who's just kind of like not really replaceable, but that 6 to 16 defensive end is pretty replaceable.
Yeah, he puts up some nice stats, but I think he just has too many nagging injuries. When he's healthy, he's really good, but he can burn you a couple times.
Yep.
Steady depth across the board. He picked up Matt Ryan, who according to you is not very good, but we'll leave that for another day. But no, I mean your quarterback tandem is really nice. A perfect 1-2 punch. Keenan Allen, that was a perfect buy low last year. I mean, you sold Julio to get him, but man, he was having a great season until he went down. If he was healthy, you got to think he'd probably make the playoffs. Floyd looked good. Martin, it's anybody's guess where he ends up. Back in Tampa would be really nice for you, but that one's going to be a wait and see. But at least he came on enough that you know he's going to get paid like a starter. I mean, overall, your team is solid. Picking up Fleener, as I know we talked about, was a nice move, especially because I think Dwayne Allen ends up leaving, and Fleener should be dominating snaps at tight end there.
It's actually funny that you bring it up. The latest Roto-World blurb is about Dwayne Allen and about how it looks like he might resign there. So I don't know.
Okay.
I also heard a rumor from Walter Football that the Colts aren't in any rush to re-sign Coby Fleener, even though it seemed like they were.
Okay, because initially I heard Fleener and Allen was out, and then I did see a couple weeks ago I saw the flip side of it. I didn't see anything today on it, but that'll be interesting. You didn't pay much for him, so it's not.
Actually, I paid Ryan Matthews, and the latest blurb.
You did pay Ryan Matthews. Yeah.
The Eagles might be trading away Marker Murray. So.
Okay then.
This is going to wind up very good. What happens.
That's why you roll the dice.
I got myself at number 2. Not yet. I'm not really going to talk much about that. You guys have touched on it. Broadbent, your team is still stacked. Yeah, you got receivers. You got Sperry and Jenkins, who, I mean, when he was on the field, he looked good. Not to mention you have Gronk too. Rodgers is not going to be as bad as he was towards the end of the year, but he's also not going to hit on those Hail Marys. But your team, with Levante David and J.J. Watt, your defense, you're looking at 30 points probably at a minimum between those two guys, and it's a heck of a way to start a week.
Yeah, for sure. So we've all got basically who we think the top teams are. Let's talk about a team each that either got knocked out of the playoffs early or didn't make the playoffs last year.
Did Jack just get pushed over?
Did he get pushed over?
Yeah, I think Jack had something to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did he not say his yet?
No, he didn't.
Oh, my bad.
No, okay. I mean, I know no shit, you know.
My bad, Jack.
Do real quick here. You know, first off, I gotta say, I think it's interesting that all the commissioners and even the ex-commissioner are our top 5. That shows a lot. What we, you know, I don't know if everybody else is gonna agree.
The
or
Illuminati
like
is
that.
live and well.
I'm just saying. Mazzetti's distracting me.
You can turn off his mic if you want, or his camera.
Yeah. Anyway, so at 5, I have Tucci at 5. Yeah, that's right. Not myself. Yeah, you guys are basically what you guys said is right. Like, I really like some of his players. I really like what Eifert did last year, but I do like his receivers. But some of them, just to see, he's top 5, so you can't hate on him. But you know, hold on, somebody's calling me while I'm trying to look at the roster.
Oh.
Okay. You know, like Amari Cooper kind of disappeared at the end of last year. I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine, but you know, we're talking. I think all 5 of us are really close. So if we're gonna nitpick, I'm gonna nitpick.
Sure.
Demaryius. I mean, what's going on with Denver and their quarterback? I mean, even Demaryius Thomas, they were already talking about him as just not being the same receiver with Manning. Not that he was anything special, but I mean, to put him that above myself, honestly, because he's the bottom 5. So I just couldn't do it, not yet anyway. So I have him at 5. I have myself at 4. We'll come back to me. How about that? Okay, we'll come back to that. At 3, I have Mazzetti at 3. I always like what you do. You always have a nice, well-rounded team. You know, I mean, Luck had a horrible year, but you know, it's Luck. Nobody even gave a shit. You just get a pass. I'm with that. You get your pass. He's Andrew Luck. He's one of the top guys in dynasty football. So there you go. I like your defense. You have some nice little pieces like Harrison Smith and Calais Campbell. You did get, you know, Keenan Allen is awfully nice, isn't he? I love having Julio, but to see as well he played was a little tough, I will say. You know, Jimmy Graham's a question for you at tight end, though. You know, I know he's your boy and all. We'll see. But, yeah, you got a nice team. You know, we'll see where Doug Martin ends up. I don't know if it's going to matter too much, but, yeah, good for you. You're sitting there nice and pretty at 3.
If he goes to San Francisco, it's going to matter.
Ugh.
Well,
Ugh. I would jump off.
I still think you have a nice, solid team, and when I talk about mine, you'll see why. Steve, I got you, the champ. I got the champ at 2. You're old as fuck, but you're still good. And you still got Eddie Lacy, who's a nice little fatty, but, you know,
he's looking good.
P90X
New picture
now.
today. New picture today looking good.
I think that's really good for
Yeah,
you.
right now he's looking like a strict scat back, 180 pounds. Someone to change the tempo and all.
It's good. I mean, you're the champ. There's not much to say. You got a great quarterback tandem, like everybody's been saying. Some solid receivers in depth, which I tend to underrate, but I got you too, so I guess I don't underrate it too much there. So yeah, you know, the champ's at 2 there, and I still got Broadbent at 1. And my main reason for that is 2 things: Aaron Rodgers, and he's getting Jordy Nelson back, which is, you know, why I'm 4th. You know, I'm just saying. But he's Aaron Rodgers, and not to mention the real reason is Gronkowski. I mean, he is far and away just phenomenal tight end compared to everybody else, and I really think that's I don't want to say separates you from the pack, but it's one of my reasons why I made you number 1 still. And even with the loss of Calvin Johnson, so I've got to put you at 1 for now anyway. And we'll go back to my team real quick. You guys are all dicks. You know, I've always I've been real champion, but I've always wanted to be paper champion. And you know, Boomer Bust is totally that all makes sense. But that being said, it's 2016. You know, Jamal Charles is going to be fine. Jordy Nelson is going to be fine. My defense is fucking sick. Like, come on, just stop. Luke Kuechly, come on. Recently re-signed to a 5-year deal. Fans are going wild about that shit.
For peanuts.
I mean,
for peanuts.
Russell Wilson, who started off the season only playing good in the second half of games, now he's playing good in the whole game. Like, that, I mean, he went from, like, 21 points to, like, 29, 28. You know, I get it.
I think
though.
he had a
Boom or
stretch
bust.
last
You want
year.
to hate? I get it. Boom or bust. It makes sense. I don't have a lot of depth. If I get hit with injuries again, it could be in trouble. And then there's the whole Rawls factor. I get it. But I put myself a 4th. I'm sure you guys will, be okay with that. It's only 1 ahead of where y'all had me, so, I'm a little hurt, but it is what it is. Julio's there, Walker, Aaron Donald, So
Yeah, we get.
that's where I wrap it up right there.
Moving on.
Well, that was a fun circle jerk.
All right. So to break the grass.
I didn't
to each other's
circle. I just
necks
stayed right here.
So let's all talk about a team. Let's try and talk about a different one each, but it might not work that way. Let's talk about a team that we think can really break out this year, who either got knocked out early in the playoffs or didn't make the playoffs. And I'll start with Planko. I think he's got all the pieces to potentially make a deep run, given how much young talent he's got. But he really needs to just have like 3 receivers put it together consistently, because I think he consistently had the most points on the bench last year. And partially because he just had a complete crapshoot at wide receiver. But I think as they're getting older and maturing, he's got guys that are going to be more dependable starters, and he's going to be able to really position his team to situationally put in for good matchups. And he's got running backs, he's got quarterbacks. Doesn't have a good defense, but what do you guys think?
No, I totally agree with you. I actually thought Planko's team was a big dud last year. Like, I thought he was going to be good last year. So, I agree with everything you're saying. I expect him to. I mean, he can only go up from what happened to him last year, and I agree with what you're saying. I thought he was going to be good last year, so why wouldn't he be good this year?
Yeah, and I would say one of the biggest probably boom candidates on his team is got to be Zach Ertz. I think this is the year that he consistently puts it together. I know he's a guy that has kind of come on in bursts, and he seems to be the guy that everyone is always waiting to finally break out on. But man, there might not be, like, outside of Watt, there's no tight end I'd rather have in Dynasty right now than Zach Ertz.
You mean Gronk?
You mean Gronk? Yeah.
Did I say Watt?
Yeah.
Watt.
Yeah.
Just like both so dominant, I confused the two.
No, you and Howie Roseman.
Yeah. So I would completely agree with that.
Yeah, I like Planko's team as a whole, but I think once you have so many options, you talk yourself into maybe making a wrong decision at your wide receiver spot or running back spot. It's hard to, having depth is great, but having depth that's all kind of at the same level makes weekly decisions really difficult.
Yep.
But some guys are starting to emerge. He knows probably his top 2 every week, and then it's just a matter of that third. But I went through it with 4 wide receivers, or 5 actually, because I still had John Brown, and every week you're trying to look at matchups and all, and you kind of just got to pick your studs and stick with them. Otherwise, you start making bad decisions, and it gets tough that way. But I like his team. But the other thing, he's got a tough division. So Jake's up and coming, and I'll kind of choose him as my breakout for this season. He's got the 4th overall pick. He's got a nice set of wide receivers. Allen Hurns really came on. I'm not completely sold on him yet, but with Bortles growing and you got Robinson on the other side, if he's not going to be your stud 1, but if he's the 2 in that offense, I think they can support it. Mm-hmm. Clearly, Sammy Watkins and Cooks. He's got a really nice top 3. He should add to it with a piece at 4. Mariota, his biggest problem was staying on the field. You got to hope that he can suit up for 16 games next year. But that's always a crapshoot. I'd certainly like to see him add some depth. Ellington is, he's kind of fading away now. But with the wide receivers he's got and the quarterback, I think he can be a surprise week to week if he can piece together his running backs a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. He's really going to put the I don't know if you guys ever heard the 0 RB theory of fantasy football, where you just stock up on receivers and quarterbacks and just let it fly. He's going to be like the litmus test for that in our league next year. Yep.
The only thing I would say to that is he's also owning the 4th overall pick in the draft, he's in striking distance to get a very good rookie running back this year if he chooses to do so, which I fully expect him to do.
Yep.
So he'll probably be shooting more towards one traditional kind of like, every down running back, and then he might have to settle for like a third down back as his RB2 or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you guys want me to buzz in on mine now?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I would say you guys both covered two that I agree with. The one that I wrote down myself, though, was Jimmy.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to bring him up as my second guy if we didn't talk about him.
Yeah, I know he was alluded to earlier. And, I mean, he's really just done a great job turning his team that was these kind of like liquid draft assets into being actual, like, proven players. He's got a foundation quarterback in Derek Carr. He's got two very good wide receivers. One is an absolute stud in Alshon Jeffrey. The other is a good volume possession guy in Jordan Matthews. He's got Justin Hardy, who's actually going to be an interesting player to watch now because Roddy White was just released today. So he may be stepping into that second wide receiver role there in Atlanta. He's also looks like he's going to be re-signing Marvin Jones, who is the premier wide receiver in this year's crop. He's probably going to get a nice opportunity somewhere. And he's also got LaShawn McCoy. So if McCoy stays out of trouble and gets it together this year, you know what you got there. He's really just got to piece together a second running back, and he's got the number 1 pick in the draft. So you're looking like Ezekiel Elliott's probably going to go there. And next thing you know, he's got a very, very, very good offensive team. And he's got the 5th pick too, so I could see him going at a more traditional dynasty wide receiver to develop in something with a higher ceiling than Hardy and Marvin Jones has. So yeah, and also if you throw in the fact that there's not going to be too much competition in the division outside of Jack, there's a pathway to a playoff run. So I see Jimmy there.
Definitely. I think you pretty much killed all the good meaty talking points with him. So thanks for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was really excited to have his first round pick at first, and then he made his team good, which that was cool. But whatever. Yeah. So does anybody else have any other teams they really think could be a legitimate breakout candidate as it stands right now?
I think you guys nailed it. Like my first pick was Planko because I really thought he'd be better last year and really fell off. And then Jimmy was good too. You took that too. So just to keep the conversation going, I think it's time to bank on the tank. Nick Henry turns it around.
Oh my God!
Starting this year.
I'm gonna mute you.
Oh, not really. I think we named the good teams. It's no,
Yeah, I think there's definitely some teams that also could pave a way to a playoff run, like a deep playoff run. But right now, those are the 3 that really stood out to me. So we're not trying to shit on anybody's team by not mentioning your team, but those were just the 3 standouts.
I mean, the only one that I just want to chime in real quick, I'm not going to go too deep. Hess has made the playoffs last year barely.
Yep.
I could see his team take another step forward this year, so I just want to...
He's got almost like a poor man's Planko team, where he's got a lot of young receivers, where if he has 3 of them just turn out to be good, he could really make a deep run. Especially, he only really needs 2 of them, honestly, because he's got Olsen and Jordan Reed. So...
Like right now, Hess has...
Yeah, well, he's getting Alvin Benjamin back, too.
Yeah, that too.
He does have the entire Carolina offense, too. So, yeah.
I'd rather have their entire defense, but,
He's got the entire Carolina offense and the entire Cincinnati backfield.
A lot of eggs in one basket. 2 baskets. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to end this on a lighthearted note. We're going to play a quick game of Would You Rather, trying to keep this a little bit fantasy football related.
Cool.
So the first question I have for you guys is, would you rather watch the Super Bowl alone with Camiolo or sit next to the person you hate the most from work on a cross-country flight? Go.
Question, what if Camiolo is the person I hate the most?
No, do you work with him? It's got to be the person you hate the most from work.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Yep, that's cool.
No, I would hands down sit with the person I hate the most.
Nick?
So I know this one is kind of targeted at me. It feels like because we had a work trip recently. There are people that I don't necessarily like that much. One in particular, anyway. But I would say my benchmark for a flight is just like getting from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Bowl is something that I actually thoroughly enjoy, and I don't like it interrupted. And Camiola is the scum that grows on scum. So I would say I'd rather take that flight any day of the week.
All right, what about you, Steve?
I'm going to go the opposite of you guys. I'll sit with Camille and watch the Super Bowl.
Oh, God.
If he beats you in the playoffs, you wouldn't be saying that.
Goddamn right.
But
But now I can hold that over his head.
You gonna kiss him, Stevie?
Nope. I'm going to hold that trophy over his head, though.
Yeah, you should bash it.
to hit him with it.
All right, the next one. Would you rather let Fabian run your team for a week or not make the playoffs for 2 years?
What's the difference?
Playoffs, because Fabian, I won't make the playoffs for 10 years.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Thurston's still digging out from that dumpster fire.
Have John Blackman, Ray Rice, Sean Landry. Who else is dead or in jail? Hernandez. Oh, yeah, that's a good.
No, you know what? What week is it? Because if it's like week 12 of the regular season,
Pre-trade deadline.
It's it's the first
drop
week.
everybody.
No, it's the first week of the teams opening back up after the season.
oh God.
Open season.
Yeah, he'd just go into the next room and
Do it.
yeah.
I would rather not make
No
the playoffs
playoff.
for 2 years. Yeah, easy. Not even close. I would rather be the worst team in the league for 2 years.
Steve, you agree with that? I didn't hear.
Oh, yeah. No playoffs for 2 years. That's not even close.
Oh,
All right,
Steve knows. He traded Michael Vick for Jeremy Maclin. He knows.
And that wasn't even Steve who asked, by the way. The only when we saw that trade go through, I just saw Steve looking across the room just like this.
No, I was sitting at the table. Like he
Jack
couldn't
was sitting there
hide the
next to me.
smile. He couldn't. His face turned red. It was great. It wasn't the alcohol. Trust me.
And this was after Nick Foles
We
breakout
did
season
500
too.
shots, but it wasn't.
And Mike, what was yours on that? Just so I know.
I think I would rather not make the playoffs for 2 years. I just wanted to. I tried to balance that question out, but I guess it wasn't balanced enough.
No, easy.
All right, so the last would you rather win the elite or have a family?
Oh.
Win the elite. Emily.
Wow. You know what? That's
Wait, do you mean my own family or my
No,
family?
like start
I have
your own
now?
family, like wife, fiance, kids, picket fence, all that shit.
Right now, Andrew Luck is
So
my
if I win the elite, I can never have that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Oh,
What if I already have both?
Yeah, so me and Steve really don't apply to this question.
Steve, you don't have a wife.
Yeah, I
You're not
win the
married.
elite.
I have a house.
Oh, so that makes you married? I have a house.
I have a house.
John and I are married. We might as well be though.
That is your family. Gay car.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I would. Oh.
Imagine
We
having.
both know. We all know what you're going to say, Mazzetti.
Don't worry, we're not gonna let your girlfriend listen to this.
No.
Think about it. If you win elites, you have bragging rights and all good things. You have a family.
I
It's nothing
would.
but a constant annoyance. Things are being taken away from you. You might even have to give up the elite at some point, depending on how fucked up your family is.
Ooh, that's
Or,
true.
You know, just
I
pros
would.
and cons.
I would rather have a family and just be a commissioner, because I get.
No,
I
you have no ties to the elite.
I get tons of
You
enjoyment.
know, this actually isn't funny. This isn't funny because I've called Mazzetti out on this before. I said I feel really bad for your firstborn child because every kid after that is going to just be the center of attention for an extended period of time, molded better to where he'll actually be the opposite of most parents, where his last-born child will be his favorite because it'll be the most perfect.
No, Nick's going to
firstborn
go
is
the
so
Kanye
old,
route and name
so
his
the
kid
league
Eastern
at this
legend
point.
Mazzetti.
No, it's going to be Andrew Austin Mazzetti,
Okay.
which is Andrew Luck's first and middle name.
Now, is that the last kid or the first kid?
First kid. My first living kid. The first one will be a stillborn.
So the last kid will just be Andrew Luck Mazzetti? Or Luck Andrew? I don't know.
Something like that.
Well, I don't think we could sink any more
I
than
see
that.
what you did
So,
there. I see what you did there.
I think I'm going to call this one a podcast, guys. I know Steve's got to get out of here. But thanks for all you guys for coming on. To you guys listening, we're going to try and do this semi-regularly. We don't have an official schedule for this right now, but given that I'd say this went pretty well for the first attempt. I think it'll be pretty easy as long as you guys don't live in like Afghanistan and have a regular computer with a camera on it. We should be able to do these whenever we really need to. So this is your host, Michael Broadbent, signing off. You guys need to say anything before we leave?
No.
Nope. I'm good.
Peace out, motherfuckers.
Expecting a nice little speech there, Mazzetti.